So it's another day and another question. Now this is quite interesting. It's a fun question to answer actually. So the question for the day is, if you had any sort of power, I mean you could choose a power here, any sort of power for 48 hours, what would it be, and what would you do, and what would your intentions be behind the same?
My powers would be to change hearts. And of course that's a bit hyperbolic maybe. What I really mean is being able to change minds, make people have compassion. Some of us, just through human nature, I believe, we grew up in these tribal societies, so maybe it comes naturally to some of us to be weary of others. And when there's a lack of education and compassion, that can lead to bad and terrible things, as we see around the world in different conflicts.
It reminds me of a rap lyric, a part of a rap lyric from Eminem. If I could only use my powers for good, I wouldn't. And I think that I was struggling with how to say that, because I don't know how I would respond. Honestly, it sounds like a lot of responsibility to be given an extra power. But then the word superpower isn't in there either. So if you're just given powers...
Well, I would choose to have the power of healing, but I would use the power of healing mainly to go around the world and healing people's minds, people who are suffering with mental health issues. It kind of sounds like I'm going along this whole mental health theme, and I suppose because it's a big part of my life at the moment, I am kind of focused on that. But in general, I'm quite a caring person, and there's a lot of people who are suffering with mental health issues. I think only till recently I've only started to realise how many people are suffering with it. I would love to be able to go around the whole world, seeing as many different people as I can, and just hearing their minds and then just pushing them to be able to live their life.
If I was given this question about 10 years ago, or even more even, I'd be like, powers of, super strength, ability to fly, breathe underwater for a long time, and all these kind of silly things, but...
145. Bosh! Power. I'll be honest, this is kind of coming from my naughty side, I think, a little bit, is I would love the superpower of invisibility.
Here's my assumption, and I'm not going to judge anybody else based on what they choose, but what I think people choose as their superpower in theoretical questions like this is the things that they feel the most stunted in, or the most limited in, or most trapped in their everyday life. Maybe I'm getting too mystical. Maybe that's not the case and I'm just reading too into it, but in my case it's true. My 48 hour superpower would be teleportation.
Okay, so this might probably not mean anything to anybody else, but to me it means a lot. I would want the power to build and collect the biggest library in the world, and at the same time I would want the power to stop time, like pause the time and you're frozen in the moment.
I want to wish for two powers. First one is the power of transformation, and I want to transform this whole world into decentralized world. And that is because if we see current scenario, and from decades we are just controlled by the politics system, and this politics making us slaves, and we don't need this system because it's pushing us into a rat race. Through decentralization we can select our leaders, we can take back the powers if they are moving towards wrong direction.
Being able to change hearts, minds, being able to give people compassion opens up the world to people wanting to help each other, an altruistic society, even beyond the one we've achieved today. Yeah, I'd change hearts, and therefore we would all become, citizens of a happier society because of it, because we'd all be more loving and accepting and caring and everything that comes with compassion and love for your fellow man. Love the questions, and I'll see you next time.
I would say I would probably have the ability to be a kind of a brilliant engineer and policymaker. And within the 48 hours, I would give myself 36 hours to think of all the different problems that there are in the world. and then the last kind of 12 hours to figure out solutions to those problems, kind of a blueprint. And then after those 48 hours are done, I'll lose my powers, but we would at least have like this, manual of how to make the world better.
Give me the power of persuasion for 48 hours. I didn't really think of anything as far as the kind of power that I would want, but the truthfulness of it would be that I would probably use the power for good 80%.
The power of actually, if you could do that to heal someone, see them go off in their life and just go on to be happy and achieve the things that they wanted to achieve, because that weight of their mental health issues have gone, would just be amazing. Of course, being able to fly would be amazing, but I think the power of healing others is a double win, really, because it makes you feel good, but also it's helping others as well. So yeah, I think that's what I'd do.
For a weekend, I don't know, I would really enjoy not being visible for a weekend. Staying in like a museum, or like setting off alarms, sitting on a bench, or being at the top of the Eiffel Tower, or the top of like Empire State Building when you're not supposed to be there. So yeah, invisibility. If it wasn't that, obviously we'd have to go down the whole like Iron Man situation, not because of the egotistical nature of Mr. Stark, but the ability to fly. Wow, can you imagine being able to fly and then flying up into space just to have a look at the Earth?
I feel very stunted in the way of mobility and travel and transit. In the past couple of years, there are places that I would like to be, and of course there would be the caveat like that if you were touching me, then you would be transported with me. We would be teleported together, because like I'm not trying to go places by myself. So yes, that would be mine.
One, obviously I have the biggest library at hand. Two, I'm gonna freeze time, like put a stop on time, so that I spend the next a million year. I don't think it will take million years, but the next thousands of years. Right? I'm assuming that when I pause the time, I'm not really going to age or die. So I would want to freeze time and spend all that time reading those millions of books that I have in my library. One, why do I want to do that? Because one, I would, I absolutely love reading. It has been one of my biggest hobbies since, one of the biggest pleasure for me, the most self-indulging thing that I could probably think of is probably not a spa. It is spending some time reading. So this has been such an enjoyable thing for me. Reading has always been a pleasure for me ever since my school time, childhood time as well. And however, as you grow up, once you turn into an adult, you have more responsibilities, and you got to go to work, you got to do a lot of other stuff, and you tend to lose the same amount of time that you probably had earlier.
Because I have places I want to go, and places that I want to go, people that I want to go places with. So teleportation for sure. I mean, that's like the digital nomad. That's like the digital nomad superpower to have, right? Maybe unlimited Wi-Fi too.
To be given 48 hours, obviously I could have superpowers and make the world better in 48 hours, but realistically, 48 hours is not a long time. So I'm thinking of putting foundations in place first before losing those powers, and then have the ability to build on further than those 48 hours into a better future.
Every individual going to hold the power. If, in my opinion, the current voting system is just a joke. Maybe, who knows, our vote is just for saying. There is no worth for our vote. Behind the scenes, they will select to whom they want to select. So decentralization is really important, because it will going to expand the true transparency. And second power is equal opportunity. If we see in this world, there is no equal opportunity. Some will say that if somebody is unsuccessful, if somebody is not a position of something, then it's their fault. They are incapable. They don't deserve. In my opinion, this is just foolish words. No one is incapable. no one is undeserving. The system behind it's making some undeserving. It's making some unsuccessful. And if people agree or not, there is a matrix behind it. We have to break that matrix, and we can do that. The real humans can do that. We can enter into free world, the world of opportunities, free actions. For namesake, we have freedom, but just sit and think about your freedom.
So I would definitely use that power, build the biggest library in the world, just everything that you can ever think of, and freeze time, and then spend all the time reading these books. I know a lot of questions might be like, why don't you want to help humanity, or why don't you want to do something good for the people around you or the nature, and so on. But I want to say that this is something that I really want. Can I just be selfish for just this one time?
Are you really free? Yes or no, your inner self will going to respond. So these are the two powers I'm wishing for, and I'm genuinely wishing for. Thank you so much for watching this video. Spread love and spread kindness. Stay blessed.
Yeah, that's what I probably want to do. I'll see you in the video and probably answering the question for the next day. Okay, bye.
That's because we were all in this together. So, yeah, I think that's my answer.
And 20% maybe for selfish or ulterior motives, depending on what the power was.
And I think that'll do for today's video.